Story posted by you/empty bus seat. Am I the a-hole for not letting a woman sit next to me because she had her baby with her? I'm 25 male, not usually for these kinds of trips, especially right now, but it was a family emergency. I purchased a bus ticket and took a 6 hours ride to the city my mom lives at for a few days and I needed to get back home for work. I purchased a bus ticket again, but going back home. This time around I decided to also purchase the seat next to me because I didn't want any strangers sitting so close to me for obvious reasons. Also because I wanted to have extra room to put my backpack and do some homework on my laptop. Today I had to turn in an assignment before deadline and I decided I'd work on it during the bus trip and submit it before I got home. When everyone else was getting on, this lady came up to me and asked if I could move my stuff. I thought maybe she mixed up her seat number and told her I purchased both these seats for myself, and she goes, I know, but my husband is sitting right here and we'd like to sit together if you don't mind. Her husband was right across from me, so they would only be a few inches apart since I'm sitting by the window and she'd be in the aisle seat. I saw her holding a baby no less than a year old I'm guessing, and my brain automatically went nope. I was not about to deal with a screaming baby glued right next to me the whole 6 hours back home. I told her I'm sorry, but I need the space to do some work and I already purchased this seat. She kept asking me because their seats were all the way at the front and she won't be close to her husband. Again I repeated my reasons and she got mad and brought the driver in on this. He politely asked if I would consider allowing her to sit there and again I said no. Well, he looked at her like there's nothing else he can do, so she walked away all pissed. An hour later all you hear is her baby screaming his head off nowhere near me, which I was grateful for. But her husband still kept throwing me dirty looks the whole ride, which I tried to ignore by focusing on my work. A few times she walked to the back to go to the bathroom and she'd glare at me. When we got off again they were giving me dirty looks and she asked me was it really all necessary to be a dick over a seat when she needed her husband's help with the baby. I told her I was sorry, but yes it was necessary. I'm home already, but I still keep thinking about it. Was I an a-hole for not letting her sit there? Now Redditors gives the best suggestion to OP on this situation. If she needed her husband's help, she should have done the same and bought 2 seats next to each other. To top it off, the social distancing should be the norm. The bus company should not even sell paired seat to strangers, and you had the care of buying it yourself ahead. Also, why didn't the husband swap seats with someone else? Not the a-hole. If you can have the foresight to book 2 seats to do a bit of work, she or her ignorant husband could have done the same for their child. This will hopefully be a lesson that they will learn from, although I doubt it, since their entitled attitude from start to finish suggests otherwise. They should be observing social distancing anyway. What kind of person would want their baby to be put at risk? They don't know you. For all they knew you'd been out at a bunch of gatherings disregarding the COVID rules. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part. I always planned ahead when traveling with little ones. This baby was probably crying and difficult on this ride because of that mother. Babies can tell when their mother is stressed, angry, hurt, etc. and often experience those same emotions. This mother was unreasonable in her reaction to being denied what she wanted but had absolutely 100% no right to have. Then she chose to be angry and exacerbate then situation. It's no wonder her husband didn't want to sit with her. But why didn't they take turns watching the baby? Why didn't they ask someone near her to switch? It seems like she jumped straight to you being the only solution to her problem. Everyone suck here. Ready for the down votes, but this is one of those times when you obviously didn't have to do anything, but it is still an a-hole move to just not be kind to people. Reddit loves to shit on entitled parents, but it's easy just to assume something when you have no idea about a certain situation. Is it frustrating when people act like they have a right to something they don't? Yes, absolutely, but I don't get all these posts with people acting the OP as some sort of hero for sticking up for a bus seat for her backpack. I've been there, I get it. It's annoying to be around babies when you're trying to get work done, but I can also imagine a scenario in which it's much more stressful to deal with a screaming unhappy baby for 6 hours alone. Sometimes it's okay to be the bigger person and just be cool to other people who might need it. I'm not a mom, nor do I want to be, but I can still sympathize with people. Not the a-hole. With a caveat, it's the middle of a pandemic, so making sure you remain safe is a perfectly sensible thing to do, even if it means buying an extra seat. However, maybe this is one of those across the pond cultural difference things, but I can't see under normal circumstances that someone paying extra money just so they've got a bit of extra space on a bus doesn't make them an a-hole. That's pure capitalistic entitlement. Buses here, whether they're public buses, where it's impossible to reserve a seat in that way, or coaches where you book a seat in advance, the likelihood is that the bus company is going to put as many people on the bus as it will hold during busy times, and reserving a seat for something other than a person would be very frowned upon, I think. Story posted by u/recovering Eve 33. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pick up drinks? I, 29 female, am a recovering alcoholic who is in the mid stages of becoming sober. I've been sober 1 year now, and although I'm a bit better I still avoid alcohol, because I know I'm not over my addiction yet. My family being my parents, 68 male, 64 female, and my older brother, 32 male, and my sister, 25 female, all wanted to get together. Since the COVID restrictions in our area had been loosened, we decided to have a family BBQ and my brother and sister got there first, and I was running late because I had to work overtime. While driving to my parents' house my brother calls me to tell me mom said to pick up some booze on my way since my parents didn't have enough, and I told him I'm not stepping foot in a liquor store because I'm still in recovery, and he goes on and on about how I need to get over myself and one drink won't hurt. I hang up and continue driving. 10 minutes later my sister calls me and tells me I need to pick up booze because mom said she only has 2 bottles of wine and some whiskey. I tell my sister what I told my brother and hang up. About 30 minutes later I arrive with no booze like I said, and I open the door and my mom says, "Oh, it's so good to see you. Why didn't you pick up the drinks?" And I told her the same thing and I tried to ignore the questions. Over an hour into dinner they won't leave it alone, and this is where I might be the a-hole. My sister told me I'm being over dramatic and you're not a real alcoholic. Alcoholics are people who don't work and drink all day. Have a drink, in which she pours whiskey into my glass without my permission, and I slammed my hands on the table and said, "Will you ducking stop with the alcohol comments to me? I don't drink." I was a day drinker. I snuck vodka in my coffee cup to drink, and I needed to stop, so no, I won't have a ducking drink. And the fact that you all think 2 bottles of wine and 2 cases of beer isn't enough for 4 people is a bigger issue than me not ducking drinking. And my sister starts to cry and my mom tells me to leave. My mom, brother, and sister all think I'm the a-hole for doing that, and some of my friends think I should have been more polite about it, but I was at my wit's end. My dad at least said he understand why I did it, but IDK if I'm the a-hole for snapping like that at them. Now Redditors gives the best suggestion to OP on this situation. Not the a-hole. Your family seems to have zero respect for your struggle. Asking you to pick up drinks was bad enough, but pouring you a drink? Wow. My suspicion is that they're functioning alcoholics themselves, and they don't like your recovery shining a light on their own issues. 2 bottles of wine and 2 cases of beer is a lot of alcohol. A bottle of wine contains about 5 standard drinks, and a case of beer contains 24. So that's a total of 58 standard drinks with everything combined, which puts things at an average of 14.5 drinks per person. That's not have a few drinks and have a good time levels of alcohol. That's get shit faced drunk and blackout levels of alcohol. For a non-alcoholic, at least. Not the a-hole. They were unnecessarily egging you on the entire day and not taking your addiction seriously. I understand why your sister was upset after you snapped at her, but that doesn't mean it wasn't well deserved with the comments she was making. You not drinking probably enhanced their own insecurities that they drink too much, hence peer pressure to fall back in line and drink with them like a normal person. Bottom line, don't listen to them and stick to the path of recovery. If that means cutting them off, if they are not taking your addiction seriously, then go for it. Personally, if I had a friend that was an alcoholic, I would remove as much alcohol from the situation as I can and never ever ask them to pick up alcohol. I wish you the best of luck. Not the a-hole. Oh, so not the a-hole. Addiction can be hell. It is a horrible disease that can sneak up on a person when they least expect it. You are taking the right steps by outright avoiding places that could trigger your addiction, liquor stores, etc. I applaud you for that. Keep up the excellent work. Now, you told your family several times what you are going through and why you have decided not to even step foot in certain stores or even buy certain things. The fact that they kept insisting you not only purchase items for them, but for your sister to actually pour a drink for you, makes them the a-hole in this situation, especially your sister. I saw it when I read that part. You explained to them several times before finally having enough. Could you have maybe handled it a little better? Perhaps. Then again, perhaps not. They didn't seem to get the message when you calmly explained your circumstances. Bottom line, it sounds like your family is not taking your sobriety seriously, and I think they needed that reality check. Finally, good luck with your recovery. Addiction is no laughing matter. It is a lifelong illness that one battles with daily. Stay strong. Keep doing what you feel is best for you. Not the a-hole at all. Recovering alcoholic myself. It's a hard enough journey as it is, and they have the goal to try and force alcohol on you and try to tell you you don't have a problem when you know you do. That's abusive control for sure. If they can't support you in trying to live a sober life, you need to seriously think about if coming into contact with them is a good idea. Maybe try and have a calm conversation with them, and if you feel comfortable, open up fully about your addiction. Many of us functioning alcoholics do it in secret, and many people in our lives never know how bad it was for us. Regardless, it's your life and your health. You are in control, and if you don't want to pick up booze, you shouldn't have to. I won't buy it either. Absolutely not the a-hole, and your sister pouring whiskey in your glass. Jesus ducking Christ. It really sounds to me like your sobriety is uncomfortable for them because it forces them to think about their own drinking, and they don't want to face the fact that it's excessive, so they are trying to sabotage your sobriety instead. Nagging you to pick up drinks when you've already established your boundary is strike 1. Belittling your problem and sobriety is strike 2. Trying to tempt you is strike 3. Physically pouring you a drink and calling you an asshole for justifiably snapping at them, that's worthy of no contact. I wouldn't be spending any more time with them if this is how they treat you and your sobriety. Not until every single one of them, perhaps with the exception of your father, has made a sincere apology and a promise to not undermine your sobriety ever again. I love wine, as does my sister, but if we're around a sober member of the family, none of us drink. Not a single one. Because if we are not able to put someone's struggle with alcoholism above our desire for Valpolicella for one night, then we are either sociopaths or we are alcoholics too.